He's a very successful guy, very good-looking guy. He's got everything going for him, but life is going down. He gets a good job. The wife of his employer tries to seduce him. She fails, so she's angry and she has him arrested. So now he spends 12 years in a dungeon. He's got a couple of reasons to be bitter.
Seems that the word of the day is insult. It seems that this is what we're feeling nonstop. We're feeling it on the big picture, obviously, first and foremost. We're insulted by the way the world has been treating us meaning Israel, Jewish people, since the worst atrocity that has happened to us recently on October 7th. And of course, we're insulted. We're insulted by everybody's treatment. Just this week, last week, a poll came out in colleges and the majority, I think it's 51%, but it doesn't matter. 51% of students ages 18 to 24 thinks Israel should be done away with and given to Arabs, Palestinians. This is the popular opinion among students. Nothing new. We know about it. The Me Too movement, which was formed in 2017. Okay, not so long ago. But the sole purpose of this huge movement that we've been talking about for the last 7 years since it's been formed is that this is the movement that protects women's rights against sexual violence. No worse sexual violence has taken place, I don't know, on my lifetime. I don't know, whatever. I don't want to compare, but it was worse than anything we could imagine. And it took 5 weeks for anybody to say anything from this particular group that's been formed just for this particular purpose, reason, and has been given the time of day and spotlights just for this particular purpose. I mean, this is a big picture. Of course, I want to talk about the little things, the petty things, the individual things that also make us feel insulted, which is like a really terrible feeling. I think feeling insulted is probably the most negative, the most depressing of any feelings that a person can feel personally or, again, not just individually, but collectively, but still. I think this is the worst feeling that a person can feel, and I think this feeling is a little bit taking over the world. So I kind of want to talk to you about this particular feeling, how not to take things personally, how not to feel insulted about big things and little things.
Well, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm sorry for the mouthful.
I just want to tell you, the music you play, I don't know who chooses your music, but it's really good.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good choices of music. So it's very enjoyable to wait and listen to all the music, and it's great.
Yeah, we've been playing a lot of Israeli music lately, and it's really, really good. And yes, we do have a wonderful music editor, Oleg, that we're giving him a shout out right now. Thank you, Oleg, for the great music from Rabbi Manis Friedman.
He deserves a plug.
Thank you.
We shouldn't feel insulted. We should feel outraged. We should feel pity, concern. What's going to happen to this world? Is it going to continue on this path until it destroys itself completely? It's already living an impossible lifestyle, at least the West. It's living an impossible lifestyle. It must lead to decadence. It must lead to disappearing. It's not a pro-life. I don't mean that in the political sense. It is not a life supportive system. It all leads to the end. It's a dead end. So something has got to change, something has got to give, because this is not working. The liberal mind has gone insane, which it turns out is the inevitable conclusion of secular thinking. We used to make this philosophical argument: why would you want to believe in evolution, which basically says that you have no purpose or reason for existing, when you can believe in a creator who believes in you? Why would you choose the secular over the intimate? So that was one of the arguments in favor of believing in God, because if you believe in God, then life has a reason, a purpose, a goal. If you believe in evolution, life has no purpose, no reason, no goal, no objective, and you can't really take anything too seriously. Because whatever's happening, we're evolving. Wait and see. How can you say this is bad for us, this is good for us? How do you know that? We're evolving. And as you evolve, the weakest, of course, will perish, and only the fittest will survive. So what are we putting up such a fight over? Let the process happen. Let evolution take its course, and whatever will be, will be. The dinosaurs became extinct. Doesn't seem to bother anybody. So if human beings become extinct, why would it bother anybody? Point is, secular thinking leads to insanity. It leads to nihilism. It leads to cynicism. It leads to purposeless existence. That's crazy. That is crazy. When you don't have a purpose to life, you're insane. So we got to catch this before it goes over the edge and there'll be nothing left. So, insulted? We're insulted by whom? By people who don't know what a woman is? Now, we want them to appreciate the fact that we're the chosen people. They can't even appreciate that a woman is a woman. What are you expecting from them? How can they understand chosen people when they think men can get pregnant? So it really is a pity. It really is a scary pity. The world is headed for extinction. And it's not an exaggeration. Suicide is becoming really sensible and appealing. It makes so much sense to quit if there is no purpose or reason to live. This is really a dangerous and that's why the more educated in secular thinking a person is, the crazier he becomes. We're seeing it very clearly. The presidents of the Ivy League schools have no idea what life is about. They have no idea right from wrong, left from right, nothing. Is it malicious? I think it would be better if it was. Okay, so you have an evil plan and you're working your plan. I don't think there is a plan. I think they're really crazy. They are as crazy as they sound. So why are we insulted? We shouldn't be insulted. Whose opinion should we take seriously enough to be insulted by it? There's nobody. So really, we're not the ones in trouble. But speaking about insult, let's go a little segue into the Torah that we're reading. Yosef's brothers sell him into slavery. Really evil plan. He eventually ends up in Egypt. They didn't sell him to Egypt. They sold him to Midianites, who sold him to Canaanites, who eventually sold him to Egypt. He's a very successful guy, very good-looking guy. He's got everything going for him, but life is going down. He gets a good job. The wife of his employer tries to seduce him. She fails, so she's angry and she has him arrested. So now he spends 12 years in a dungeon. He's got a couple of reasons to be bitter. He finally gets out and things start to turn around. And he becomes the prime minister of Egypt, saves the country, enhances the country, makes Pharaoh the complete and total ruler over all the provinces. Egypt was, before Yosef, Egypt was divided into provinces, and each province had its own dictator. But because of Yosef's plan of storing food and so on, they all surrendered to Pharaoh in order to get food. And Pare became the sole ruler over all of Egypt. Joseph's accomplishment. He also instituted a law that clergy don't have to go to war or work for the government. So clergy were not enslaved. That law stands in most countries until today. Now his brothers come down to Egypt. They don't recognize him. It's been 22 years or something. He left as a teenager. But he recognizes them. And then the Torah gives us this whole drama of how he tested them. Basically, he made them miserable. He accused them of spying. What he was doing really was moving them towards complete tshuva. What is complete tshuva? If a person says, I regret my sins, I really regret my sins, because I see the consequences. The brothers actually said to each other, you know why this is happening to us? Because we sold our brother. They were doing tshuva. They accepted the punishment of what Yosef was putting them through. Of course, not knowing that he is Yosef. But that was not a complete tshuva. Why was it not a complete tshuva? Well, first of all, because what they were regretting were the consequences, not the act itself. So if a person says, I shouldn't have stolen that whatever, because now I'm in jail. So are you regretting the crime or are you regretting the time? So Yosef wanted to move them past that. But he wanted to move them past another thing. If a person says, I did something terrible. In fact, I can't even believe I did it. So bad, so bad. I can't imagine how did I allow myself to do that? What he's saying is, I'm not that bad of a person. So I don't understand. Why did I do something so bad? Or in different words, what I did was bad. I didn't intend to be bad. I'm not a vicious person. I lost my temper. So I regret losing my temper. But I'm not regretting who I am, because I'm basically a good guy. Or I did it only because people provoked me and my situation made me. In other words, you're confessing a partial sin. Then your tshuva is naturally a partial tshuva. If you only partially sinned and you're regretting that, then your tshuva is also a partial tshuva. The only time the tshuva is complete is if you sinned complete. So when you start justifying or minimizing or rationalizing, yes, what I did was terrible, but... so your tshuva also has a but. So Yosef says to them, when he finally identifies himself, and they are sure that he's going to take revenge for what they did to him. What does Yosef say? Yosef says, I am not angry at you. I have no hard feelings towards you. I have no complaint even. Because although you intended for the bad, God, who runs the world, intended it all for the good. God brought me here, not you. God made all this happen, not you. And why did God make it happen? Well, look, I saved the whole region from hunger. It's all good. What an incredible attitude. But then the question is asked by some of the commentaries, why did he have to say you intended bad? If he wanted to say, God runs the world, God arranged all of this, and so I have no complaints to you, that's beautiful. Why did he have to get in that jab? You are rotten, but why did he need to say that? What he was saying is, you are already admitting that what you did was terrible. I don't have to tell you that. But you might be thinking that you didn't really intend all of this to happen. Had you known, no, you had really bad intentions. You have some serious problems. Do a complete tshuva by recognizing that your sin was complete. You planned it. You schemed it all out. It was premeditated. You did it intentionally. Nobody forced you. Nobody tricked you. Nobody lied to you. Take full responsibility and do a full tshuva. But in the process, what we have learned, they sold him into slavery. And yet Yosef says, no, you didn't bring me here. They didn't bring it. They didn't sell him into slavery. He's not in Egypt because they sold him to traders, slave traders. How can that be true? So here's an even more surprising element to the story. After Yosef says to them, you intended for the bad, but God intended it for the good, and he led me here, and he made me the viceroy of Egypt so that I could save all these people from hunger, including you. The next thing he says to them is, I'm going to give you presents. I'm going to send food home with you to my father. I'm going to invite him to come here and live with me. What's with the presents? Why is he giving them presents? To prove that he's not angry? I don't know why he would need to prove it. And I don't know if that proves anything. Sometimes giving a gift can be insulting. Here, I gave you a gift. It's all fine now. You sold me into slavery, and I really should be angry, but no, I'll give you a gift and everything is fine. It could feel a little dismissive. Here, I'll give you a free lunch. Not only wasn't he angry at them because he didn't believe that they sold him into slavery, but that God did it. How did God do it? God didn't come down to Canaan and take Yosef and sell him to Midianites. How did God do it? God works through his agents. In this case, God sold him into slavery, into Egypt, through the brothers. So the brothers facilitated God's blessing for Yosef. So Yosef said, in effect, when you're eating in someone's house, you thank the waiter who serves you the food. Now, you know it's not his food. Like for wine, the wine belongs to the host, but you thank the waiter. Why? For bringing you the wine. Yosef said, what happened was great, and it's coming from the host, from God, but how was it served? How was it delivered? Through you. Well, here's a tip for your services. So not only did he not feel anger or resentment or blame them, he actually gave them credit for being God's messengers and facilitating the plan that God had for him. That's a pretty noble attitude. I don't know too many people who could come up with that response to people who really seem to have caused you a lot of misery. But here's the point. No human being can hurt you. Ever, ever. If a human being succeeds in hurting you, it's because that was the divine plan. That is part of your fate. It's part of your history. That's what makes you you, and what makes your life your life. Those who had bad intentions, oh yeah, they really enjoyed hurting you, but they couldn't hurt you if it wasn't already in the plan. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that, and that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it.